So we are live, Mr. Paul Bursey.
Yes, we are. Welcome to healthierlife.tv. My name's Paul Bursey, and I'm speaking from the southern part of the UK, so in Essex. And also my co-presenter is...
No, I'm not speaking from Essex either.
No, you're not. No.
No, but I'm speaking from the central part of Europe, in Hungary. Warren Conley here, and nice to have you with us today as we talk about easy ways to improve your gut health. Yeah. Sorry, you were trying to say there?
No, what I said, it sounded very sexy when you said the central part of Europe.
Central part of Europe. Wow.
So, but yeah, easy ways to naturally increase the good bacteria in your gut, and there's many ways round to it, but we'll get there. But we were talking just before we started, and I think we both agreed that most people don't get their gut right, and it's not good news for any of us personally, because they talk about the gut-brain connection. So the gut affects, your mood, and also your cognitive ability as well.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so important. In our business, we have 3 macro actions that we personally do on a daily basis. And the first one, I just want to get these out of the way so you can see where we're coming from. The first one is balance. We use a balance oil, okay, and that is with polyphenols and omega-3. It's a food supplement, and basically what it does, it adjusts your body omega levels and supports normal health. It supports all your cells, because there's trillions of cells. You need those in good health, and also brain function. The reason we need the cells in good health is because we need to absorb the nutrients from everything that's good. Okay, if we don't get the gut right, then what we'll be doing is taking some toxic things in as well. So we have to be very, very careful. Now we're working on our balance, as so the customers are as well. But the second thing is restoring, and what it is restoring your gut so that it becomes as healthy as it possibly can. Now, we personally use an all-natural dietary fiber.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want anything other than natural. And it's a blend that promotes digestive health by supporting the growth of healthy bacteria. So we're going to talk about the bacteria and what we need. And the third one was support, which we're not going to go into today. But it's very important that you work at getting your gut health right, because it's the road to better health. It is a personal journey. You are unique. It's not one size fits all, but there are some common things that we can do, that everyone can do, to be much, much healthier. So what is required by the human body to restore? So what type of, just quickly glaze over them, if you can, Warren, what type of things we can do to, as far as the gut is concerned?
Improve our dietary fiber intake. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit more about that in depth. Dietary fibers is the one. The other one is also, as a kind of like a consequence of improving your dietary fiber, is also improving your biotic intake as well. So I'm talking about prebiotic and probiotic here. Okay, and we're gonna either Paul and I are gonna just explain a little bit more detail what that means and what that looks like. And it's just about changing your intake of food, really. It's not too complicated. It's just literally, maybe for many of us, just introducing new foods into our diet. And the rest will kind of take care of itself, really.
Yeah, and then, because when you talk about fibers, we're talking about lowering cholesterol, lowering the bad cholesterol and upping the good cholesterol. And
well, it's also, yeah, so this is, as I was saying, we were talking more in depth about it, but if you're talking about dietary fibers, you've got 2 different types of dietary fibers. You've got soluble and insoluble. So the soluble stuff are the ones that are obviously being absorbed by your body, okay? And then these are based... it gets dissolved and it becomes like a gel-like substance in your body. Okay. And then that basically helps to remove reduce blood cholesterol, as you mentioned, also your blood glucose levels. Okay, and then that can be found in a variety of foods such as oats, which is something that I eat every day, peas, beans, apples, citrus fruits, carrots, barley, and psyllium. So psyllium is a type of husk. Okay, and it basically comes from the plant genus Plantago. So it's a husk from the Plantago, or the plants that are from that genus, Plantago. So yeah, those are your sources of dietary fiber. Then you've got your insoluble dietary fiber, which obviously doesn't get digested or dissolved by the body, and that literally passes through your intestines. So through your stomach, your dietary system, your digestive tract, like your small intestine, your colon, and then gets pooped out of the body. And that helps to pass through a lot of things that get caught up in the body, in the colon especially, and in the small intestine. These insoluble dietary fibers, they very often help to give you kind of like a colon cleanse, if you will, and that's one of the major benefits of eating insoluble fibers. So you're going to find insoluble fibers basically is going to help people with irregular bowel movement and constipation, okay, and amongst other gut-related issues. So you're going to find that in whole wheat flours, wheat, bran, nuts, beans, and then your veggies, which are like cauliflower, your green beans, and potatoes.
Well, I feel very healthy after eating all that lot. I eat all those, by the way. Yeah, no, of course, the when it's insoluble dietary fiber, it's also roughage, isn't it? So
yes.
Also known as bulk, and it just helps clear everything out of the way. And obviously the supplement that we use follows up and clears anything that may be left. But it's also about you mentioned about glucose, and we're talking about blood sugar spiking and things like that.
Yeah.
Because it happens after meals, depending on what you've eaten, and if you've got really good fiber intake, it helps reduce the blood sugar spikes.
It does definitely.
Yeah, when we're talking about carbs and things like that, depends on what carbs we're eating. Some people get mixed up with carbohydrates and fiber because there is a link. There is a big link there. Mm-hmm. So it's important what you eat as well. All
right. I'll give you guys an example. Every morning, some mornings I don't have, but for the most part, it's at least 90% of the time. I have raw oats, I have nuts, seeds, and just the nuts and the raw oats alone is giving me that dietary fiber enough. It's giving me the soluble and the insoluble dietary fiber that my body needs. So I'm feeding my body with the healthy biomes, or the healthy bacterias, okay, which we'll talk about more depth about now in a moment. And then I'm also helping stuff to pass through my body. So I'm reducing my blood sugar levels, my cholesterol levels, and I'm also keeping my gut clean. All right. Well, relatively. That's not gonna give me a colon cleanse, but with everything else that I eat, sure. Okay. And it's not difficult to do, eh? It's just a matter of changing your habits.
Yeah, because what's the upshot of a good, clean gut?
Well, yeah. Something that most people are not aware of, and it's something that we have spoken about in the past, where your gut has its own brain. The body has two brains. This brain here, and we have a brain behind in the gut here, behind the ganglia, which is like a nerve center here in the gut. And there's a communication continuously going between the two centers. So if your health in your gut is good and is optimal, then the feedback that's coming from the gut to the brain up here is optimal at the same time. So that communication is cleaner. It's more clearer, and because the gut is so central to our emotions and our feelings and things like this, like when people, they use the expression, use your gut instinct. Yeah, because it tells you, it speaks to you, your gut, whether it be good or bad, whether you're feeling bloated or relaxed. Okay, but the gut speaks to us, and if that gut is clean and healthy, then your ability to trust your own instincts, I believe personally, is improved upon, just slightly perhaps. But if that gut is toxic and it's suffering with inflammation and all kinds of stuff like that, then the communication between there and the brain is not as good. But it basically helps with bowel movement. Obviously, you're having a good, clean, healthy gut. Your bowel movement is more regular. You're probably going to have stronger stool, or bulkier stools. It normalizes your bowel movement. It lowers cholesterol levels, like we touched on. It helps control your blood sugar levels. It aids in achieving a healthy weight as well, because now your body's ability, your metabolism is improved upon. Your body's ability to get rid of toxins and everything that would typically be collecting in the gut, in the colon, in the small intestine, that gets cleansed out regularly. So your body's ability to lose fat and for you to regulate your weight is improved upon, and it helps you to live longer. Okay, and that the last one is a kind of knock-on effect from it's from the cascading of everything else happening. You're improving your input of good bacteria into the stomach, into the gut. You're reducing the inflammation in the gut and any possibility or chance of certain conditions and diseases and so forth developing within your gut and then leading to other parts of the body. So therefore, it's going to help you to live longer at the end of the day by having a clean and healthy gut. Okay. But the most important thing is that it's supporting healthy bacteria in your gut, and there's a reason why that's important, which maybe Paul might touch on. But yeah.
Well, we will in a minute. And look, the basic things, we all need some kind of simple strategy to help the gut, and then by doing that, helping the brain. Okay, we all want a better mood. How many miserable people do you speak to? How many people that walk around, they've got the hump, or they're annoyed, or tearing at the steering wheel? This all, I think, comes from the gut. Because if you're happy, if you're not in pain, you haven't got inflammation and things like that. It tells someone like me everything I need to know, because obviously we're all unique, so we all need little tweaks that are maybe slightly different to everyone else. But when we're talking to someone, we cover three basic things. If you think about it logically, we deal with the poop, right? Okay,
Yeah.
because you know if you're ill. Everyone knows. All right. We deal with the mood, and we deal with sleep. Now, if you get those three things right, and bear in mind, the gut has a big control over these three things. Okay, if you get them right and get a healthy gut, it's just essential for a healthy body. So, we know how to get people healthy. That's the bottom line. And unfortunately, there's a vast percentage of people either don't want to get healthy, or don't know how to get healthy, or maybe just not giving it the time it needs. And it's not, look, at the end of the day, it's not a tremendous amount of time, you just need to apply yourself a little bit, learn a little bit, and apply a little bit. That's all it basically is. Would you agree with that, Warren?
Yeah, sure. And it's most people will probably, not most, but a vast majority of people might say to you, yeah, but I don't have the time to do that. Well, that's why we do this podcast. One of the reasons is to give you, so you can, if you just sit here for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 45 minutes at the most, you're going to learn quite a bit about how you can improve your health. And that's 45 minutes of your life that could
Yeah, absolutely.
literally help you to live 5, 10, 15, 20 years, whatever, longer than you may be forecasted to live for based on your current health right now. And look, having a healthy gut, it cannot be stressed upon more. And I want to just, you know, I've been overweight before, and you know, I've been as a kid, I was that overweight, chubby, fat, whatever kid you want to call, and you want to label a name, and it's not a nice place to be in when you like that, and you're like that. It's not a nice place to be in. And even as a kid, I used to struggle with my stomach and the health of my stomach, and pains like bloatedness. As a kid, I used to feel like sometimes like those, you see like in the more movies, you'd see the guys finished feasting and then they unbutton their shirts and then they unbutton unbuckle their belt and then like sit there. Oh, that's how I used to feel as a kid. If I was just eating anything, my stomach would just up like that. And you can be happy on the outside, but on the inside, it's going to be challenging. It is a struggle, living with that kind of discomfort every single day. It's not a good place to be in. And I know people are in far worse positions, and I have compassion for them, because for the most part, people just don't know where to turn to. They don't want to go see a doctor about stuff and get on medication. Who wants medication, really? Except for those that have no clue whatsoever and are totally ignorant. But if you're watching this or you're listening to this, I'm sure you have some inclination about what to do for yourself, or you have some motivation or a internal drive that something needs to change in your health. So you're willing to go and look at alternatives and not just go to the doctor and get medication from the doctor. But it's saying that it's not easy. I know it's not easy. I know it's challenging. But that's one of the reasons why we do this. So, it's not that difficult. You don't have to go change the whole life around, right? People don't have to change their life around. They don't have to turn the forest over. They got to just do one thing at a time, one step at a time, one day at a time. And sooner than later, you're going to notice differences in your habits and in your health.
Absolutely, one step at a time, baby steps.
Yeah.
And that's basically what it's taken me. It's taken me years to get in the right frame of mind to do it, and then to take one little step at a time. I think the first step I ever took was changing from cornflakes or fortified cereals to raw oats.
Okay.
And that probably was the biggest thing that I did, I would say. Cut down on, because I'd love cups of tea. I used to drink. I used to be a police officer, so police officers drink lots of tea, and so I had to cut down on the amount of tea I drink. But then
in South Africa, they drink a lot of alcohol.
Yeah. Well, no, I've done that in the past, but not too bad. But and then basically I had to then look at fluid levels, because I wasn't getting enough fluid. Although a lot of it was coming from tea. So then I had to look at different ways of doing that. And once I got the basics right, I started sleeping better. A lot of these things will have knock-on effects that you don't even realise.
Mm-hmm. Of course. Yeah.
And that's nice. When you have something like that, and when you slept, and I was sleeping 4 or 5 hours a night and things like that. Now I sleep 7 hours a night. Bang. Because there's nothing grumbling in your stomach to wake you up and things like that. Because when the system's not working well, and also when you drink late at night, you tend to want to go to the loo. But if it's working correctly, you don't. It doesn't wake you up. And that to me is brilliant.
Same thing with me. Last night I ate dinner, and it was around about 7:30. Wasn't a heavy dinner. It was a fairly light dinner. But then later on, before I went to bed, about half an hour or so before I went to bed, I had some Greek yogurt with some almonds and dates. and I was fine. I went to bed. I didn't wake up during the course of the night, but when I woke up this morning, I needed a number two. I needed a number two before I did anything else, and that to me is healthy.
Yeah.
I needed the sustenance in my body, and this is what often happens with people. I wouldn't advocate eating before you go to bed, like half an hour before you go to bed, like I did, even though it's Greek yogurt, nuts, and dates. It's not a heavy thing, but I wouldn't say go and do that every day or do that for yourself. But sometimes people feel like I'm one of those people. I don't like going to sleep on an empty stomach. I just don't. I need something in my body, yeah. But if I have the right food, I'm not going to wake up in the middle of the night. But if I go eat a shawarma or I go eat,
Who's
I don't
he?
know, hey,
What's that?
or a burger, or I go eat some cake or something, I might then wake up in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Although
They do suggest though having a small bit of quality protein before you go to bed for some
exactly
people.
what I did.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So you don't. It's not like having a meal, but it's enough. Your body loves it. In other words, it absolutely loves it, and that could be something for someone who's maybe struggling a little bit with their sleep. And just try it a little bit. Maybe if you've got some cooked chicken in the fridge, just have a small piece of cooked chicken.
I wouldn't. The way I see it, because it's like meat. If you're eating meat before you go to bed, it takes so much longer to digest in your system. So you may not wake up if it's a small piece of chicken. You may not wake up, or meat, whatever, beef, but your body's going to be working harder through the night because it needs to digest that, right? Before it starts to ferment or go rancid, and not ferment, but go rancid in your body, in your stomach.
What about a protein shake? What about half a protein shake or something?
So maybe a protein shake, or like I did, like I had Greek yogurt with some nuts, with almonds, or you could have.
That's what I was trying to force it out of you. So
just something light. It could be, I don't know, maybe something with cheese and something light, like some vegetables, cheese sliced with vegetables or something like that. So you're getting some fiber and some protein into your system, some fats if it's a good quality cheese. I'm just giving some thoughts here. I'm not prescribing anything to anybody for whatever, but I'm just giving you some ideas as to what might work for you. But you got to try it out as well. I just wouldn't go necessarily with meat, because meats would just take longer to digest in your body. So that means your body's working for the most part while you're sleeping, and you don't really, because then your quality of your sleep is not going to be the same. You may not wake up, but you're not going to get the same quality of sleep. If that makes sense, right?
Yeah. So, okay. So let's talk about what we wanted to talk about anyway.
Yeah.
Let's end up with this, and let's talk about probiotics and prebiotics. Yes. What's the difference?
Okay. Before I get onto that, I'm going to jump back to where we were now, because this is part of probiotics and prebiotics. These foods are part of that. They contain these. An idea that for you to eat something light that's going to give you something at night before you go to bed could be like a fermented food. If you want protein, it could be something like tempeh or tofu. You understand? Or something like kimchi or sauerkraut, something like that. Maybe even drinking some kefir. So these are all fermented foods, but they contain things like prebiotics and probiotics. So we're going to talk. Do you want to talk about that now? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool, excellent. So you're asking me what's the difference between prebiotics and probiotics?
Yeah, basically.
So prebiotics are specialized plant fibers. Okay, and they act like fertilizers in the body, in which they stimulate the growth of healthy bacteria in your gut. That's a prebiotic. All right, and then prebiotics, what they do is they fuel the probiotics in the body. But these contain live organisms. So we're looking at things like yogurt, fermented foods, and so forth. And they basically directly add to the population of healthy microbes in the gut. So they directly attacking the bad bacteria in your body, in your gut itself. Okay. And then the prebiotics are just the the subsidiary forces. Yeah, they're the backup force. They're the ones that are feeding the soldiers in the front line.
It sounds good. Yeah, look, but you need both. Having said that, it is still a very early science, so they are still finding things out about probiotics and prebiotics. So if we find out any more, and if anything was to change, which is always possible, then we would let you know. But the so how can I get? So let's talk about prebiotics. So what can I use for that, please?
You can find it in a range of foods, from what I understand. But asparagus.
Oh yeah.
Yams. Hey?
Yeah, that's nice. I like that.
Asparagus, yams. What else? Top of my head. I know you can find it in loads of foods.
Yeah. I mean, fruit and vegetables for one.
Your vegetables that have got complex carbohydrates, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Your complex carbohydrate vegetables, okay? Because they've got fiber and resistant starch inside of them, and that's not digestible, so that passes through the digestive system, okay? And then it becomes food for the bacteria, the good bacteria.
I mean, the ones I personally use are things like legumes, beans, peas.
Yes, legumes.
Oats and bananas and onions. They're the ones I have. But and berries as well. Sorry, there's another one. Have you ever heard of Jerusalem artichokes?
Yes, I have.
Which are not the same as the regular ones, but
no, they're not.
I've never had one. Never even thought about having one. So, and also the other one was the dandelion. Dandelion greens. Seems to ring a bell as well. So I better find out about them. But
isn't dandelion poisonous? Isn't that toxic?
Maybe not dandelion greens.
Yeah, I hope not.
But yeah,
I think dandelion in a heavy dose can be lethal, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong.
Yeah.
But maybe dandelion greens are not quite the same.
I don't really know the difference, but
I've never heard of dandelion.
I think it's all about leaves and roots and things like that. It's all rather than the actual flower itself or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah. It'd be interesting. Be interesting to find out and come back and report and yeah. But what about so we basically, I'm sure if people have listened to some of the foods that would come under the heading of prebiotic. What about probiotics? What would they have for that?
Well, your yogurts and your like plain yogurts, like Greek yogurt or plain white yogurt, fermented foods. So again, your
the ones you mentioned,
your kimchi, tempeh, tofu. What else?
You mentioned kefir.
Kefir, kefir, yeah. I have kefir at home in my fridge here. I have Greek yogurt in my fridge. I have kimchi in my fridge. I have tofu in my fridge. I do. I don't eat them all the time. I don't eat them all the time, but I do eat something pretty much most days. So it's keeping those probiotics, active in my gut.
Yeah, for me, it would probably be the one I have the most would be pickled vegetables.
Yeah, okay. So like kimchi almost. Kimchi,
So, anything in the jar. So, anything like that. But look, the bottom line is with everything we speak about, you're not going to get it 100% right. It is. We don't want to take. You never want to take the fun out of life. However, you still want to pay a little bit of attention to make sure you don't go too far down the, down
the rabbit hole.
Down the rabbit hole of likes that are maybe not too good for you and things like that.
Hey, if you understand the 80-20 rule, and the power of the power of momentum and compounding, and you just follow the 80-20 rule, you're going to find that you're not anal overthinking anything really. You're just identifying that 80% of my diet should contain A, B, C, D, whatever. 20% of my diet could contain bum, 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 bum. Not should. Okay. Yeah. So it could contain. And then with that compounded result, it will just keep flowing and flowing and flowing. Yeah. And you're going to notice that the 20% will slowly reduce and the 80% will just slowly get bigger and bigger and bigger. And you won't even realize it. And vast majority of what you're putting in your mouth is just healthier for you.
Absolutely. So, anything else you want to talk about at all, Warren?
Yeah, just some other good habits or good healthy ways to keep your gut healthy as well. For example, like brushing your teeth and flossing regularly is important. Science has shown, results have shown, studies and data have shown that if your teeth are not healthy, your gut is most likely also not healthy. Okay, so brushing at least twice a day, flossing every day is important. It's imperative. You can eat dark chocolate. Dark chocolate, the polyphenols in dark chocolate, and that's very good for your gut as well. Okay,
that's good.
What's that?
That's good.
We all love dark chocolate, don't we? But I'm talking about dark chocolate. I'm not talking about milk chocolate or milk chocolate that looks like it's got a dark tinge to it. I'm talking about
that comes under candy, doesn't it? But
I'm talking
the highest percentage chocolate you can get.
Yes, a minimum 70%. Minimum 70%. And then spices as well. Your things like garlic, you mentioned it, onion, turmeric, ginger. These kinds of things are great for your gut health as well. So, for those of you folks that live in the UK that are listening to this or watching this, I'm sure most of you enjoy a good Asian dish. Indulge yourself, add those spices to it, pile it in there. And again, if you're not one that enjoys cooking a lot, it doesn't have to be complicated or time intensive or time consuming. It really doesn't. You can make good, quick, easy dishes, putting a few things together, and you don't have to be cooking anything. You can literally have uncooked raw stuff or one or two things that maybe is like cooked. Like, for example, take boiled eggs and you add that with some sauerkraut or pickles or kimchi or something like that with a nice mixture of raw vegetables or even cooked vegetables that are boiled or steamed. Again, very simple to do. Add some nice sauce to that, without going overboard. And Bob's your uncle. You've got a good dish, and that can be, you can do that. You don't have to do that every day, but something like that. But why not every day? It's going to add to the health of your gut. It's going to help improve your ability to function every single day, feel good about yourself, and have a better disposition as well. Because remember, because our gut is so central to our emotions and our feelings, and when you feel uncomfortable like that, and when you're feeling bloated all the time, and there's just discomfort in your gut, and you look at yourself and you don't feel good about yourself because of your stomach, that has an impact on the way you interact and engage with other people. No matter what you think and what you want to believe, it does. It impacts the way you're engaging with other people. You may be putting on a brave face on the outside and laughing and smiling and all that, but in essence, the way you are treating other individuals is impacted by your gut health. It really is. Because it does play such a large part in how we behave, because of the communication that goes from here up to here, influences our communication and our feelings and our emotions and everything. So take heed, take note, please. Bear that in mind.
The other thing is you can experiment, and you can experiment with different quality foods. If you're concerned about cost is a very important thing these days. 100%. But don't buy cheap to save money. Buy quality and reduce the amount you have.
reduce the
And then think about it, and then because you don't have to have massive meals. Really, you can train yourself to have reasonable meals. And the other thing is, when you're talking about quality meats and food like that, I would say concentrate on how you chew as well and how long you chew, because that has a big bearing on the gut as well.
It does, yeah, true.
Yeah. So
I think the advice is 27 times you should be chewing a mouthful, something like that.
Yeah, you got to reach it, and sometimes it just disintegrates, and it's good. Oh.
Then it's good. Once it's gone, it's gone.
That's right. I think
you
just go through the system quicker. That's all. I mean,
yeah. So, it's not just that it goes through the system quicker. Again, your body is a net. It's a conglomeration of different systems all working together, right? And the more you chew your food, the less work your body has to do. Yeah, you're putting in the effort here, which takes a few more bites than you normally might. Okay, it doesn't take long to chew 27 times for a mouthful, but by doing that and breaking down that food properly in your mouth, it just eases the pressure on your body. It's think about like you swallow something large and it goes down your throat. It just feels uncomfortable, right? Now your body's going to break that down, and that's going to make you feel even more uncomfortable. So yeah, you're just passing it through your system nice and easily, nice and smooth. And then it passes out your body nice and easily and nice and smooth.
If you need to chat at all, please leave us a message on here, and then we'll get in touch with you. If you're having problems with digestion and all things like that, we're quite happy to have a chat with you. The other thing, one thing I did miss was the fact about the speed you eat as well. Slow it down. I'm the world's worst for that. I think I've got the army mentality. If I don't eat it, someone's going to steal it from me. And so it's very important. So the one thing I mentioned earlier was poop, mood, and sleep. Okay, that's what I work on as a nutritional counselor, and it works. Trust me. All right. So with that, I haven't got anything further to say. I don't know you, Warren.
Yeah. Look, we have something that can provide a solution to everything that's pertaining to your gut health, and it's simple. Again, like last week, we mentioned, why not just have everything, if you can, compounded into one thing, instead of going out and buying this, and this, and spending money irrationally and unnecessarily on a multitude of different things. Just have one thing that covers all the bases. And that's what we have as well. We have one item that covers everything that your gut needs in terms of health, and to provide good health for the foods that you're digesting, to aid those healthy foods that you're going to be eating to do their job even better, and to reduce the tension and the stress in your body. And I wanted to put that out there as well. We have a product that covers all of those bases for you. It's going to end up saving you a lot of money at the end of the day. It's going to save your health at the end of the day. And if you're not aware of what it is that Paul and I offer, then do some research by reaching out to us and asking us questions, and we'll be happy to help you. And we can maybe perhaps get you going on your first journey of research into your own health.
Yeah, it's all about being comfortable, being healthy, and however long you're here, make sure you're as healthy as possible, and that's what it boils down to. So
100%.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, have a fantastic week, everyone. Stay in touch, show the love, make comment, good or bad. We thrive on things like that. So with that, we're going, and we hope you have a very healthy week, or very financially healthy week as well. Because that's important. And we will speak again next Wednesday. It was an hour later today, but back to 11 a.m. London time and 12 midday Central Eastern time. European time. Sorry,
European time. Yeah, not Central Eastern time.
Eastern. I was thinking of Eastern Promise. Sorry.
You and Dave are like you've caught Dave's
Yeah, I know. That's the trouble listening to someone. But no, no, I did change it very quickly though. So, all right, mate.
Okay. Fantastic,
Yeah,
everybody.
great doing a show with you, Warren, and have a great week yourself. And we'll speak soon. See you later.
Ciao, ciao.